Okay, going on a little trip tomorrow, just a day trip, but I'm going to simulate a overnight bivouac, kind of a 24-hour type situation, you know, for just going out, my quick overnighter. So, taking a small pack. This is the 30-liter REI Traverse internal frame. It's a little small. What I won't be taking is a sleeping bag, so I'm just kind of going to go through what I am going to put in there. I'm going to have the 2 extra pairs of socks, pair of wool mittens, and silk long johns, and an extra pair of underwear, just because I have it. I got the platypus bag. Now it's going to be probably 30 degrees out, so I don't think water is going to really freeze as long as I'm hiking around, and you know, I'm really not going to do a whole overnight. It'll just be a quick day trip with a set up a shelter, a bivouac shelter, and just no fire, just using minimal kit Esbit stove. So I'll have a 1-liter platypus and my hot cozy and my little 2-cup Tupperware. Have my emergency blanket, the TP, food. All my food. This is really more than 1 day's worth of food. It's probably 3 days of food if I really want to stretch it. So quite a bit of food in here. I got my instant potatoes, olive oil, tea, toothbrush, Tang, some more tea, honey, some of that fake butter stuff, little tomato paste seasoning, dried milk, another thing of tea, oatmeal, and then I always just keep this in my packs. This is rice. Now this isn't the instant cook, so I'd have to get a fire going to do that. Doesn't really work too well on the Esbit stove. I can do it if I use a whole fuel tab and let it sit in my hot cozy for about half an hour. I'll be taking beef jerky. I like cheese, so I'll be taking a half a pound of sharp cheddar, comfort food, and for breakfast, my homemade granola. So that's my food right there. Just going in the pack here. You've seen what's in here. This is that hygiene bag with all my cooking utensils, my Esbit stove. That's all in there. I'll be taking the 1 quart Nalgene, so I'll have 2 quarts plus my 1 pint of coffee or water. So that'll be 2.5 quarts of water. Always take my sit pad. Be taking the all-weather blanket ground cloth. Alright, and I've shown you how I did this before, where I make it into a little bivvy with a pocket for my feet. Just throw that out here. So there's a little pocket for my feet there. So I'll be setting up the emergency bivvy. Find it works pretty well. I will be taking my 1 U.S. Army shelter half. So that's 3 pounds with the tent stakes, about 3.5 pounds. So I'll be taking the U.S. Army shelter half. I'll be taking that silk sleeping bag liner. And at the very bottom, I will take my down booties. So when I set up my little camp, I'll put on my down booties. Now for boots, I'm just going to wear my leather hiking boots. It's snowing out, and normally I'd wear my pack boots, but I want to try and get a good 5 miles in. What else we got in here? Got my PSK, of course, my knife, you know, on the carabiner, my little chamois towel. That's really the whole situation here. So just wanted to show you what I'm going to be taking. I'll give a trip report when I'm back. Here's the PSK, some Esbit fuel tabs. Oh, and I will be taking the open-all folding saw, just because if I want to make a fire, I find that's a good way to you know, get some deadfall and put it in there. And that all weighs less than 20 pounds, which is really a pretty nice loadout. Okay, just made it back to the car. Quick wrap up here. 10 miles, about 4 hours of walking, between an hour and a half and 2 hours for lunch, piddling around, you know, trail stops. Ran into a couple people on the trail, you know, talked to them. Small game hunting, walking their dogs, whatever. Things that worked. The wool shirt worked well. The hiking boots worked fine. I had some snow seal on them, so even though the snow was wet, that was fine. First time I've really used the gaiters for a long distance hike. They worked fine. Probably didn't need them because I'm not in any deep snow or mud or anything like that. The down booties during lunch were great. My feet were warm that entire time I was sitting there. It was cold. Pack was okay. 30-liter pack's a little small, so stuff was really stuffed in there. So that all worked well. Fingerless gloves with mitten, fleece, they worked fine. If they get wet, I've noticed the fleece is pretty much useless. Tac 511 pants, those are nice, especially in winter. They're heavy enough to keep your body warm, tough enough. Lunch, I was curious as to whether that was going to be enough lunch, and I kind of added up the calories in my head on the way back, and it's really was probably well over 600 calories, and I'm still full. I thought I was going to be hungry, starving. I was starving when I ate lunch because I didn't eat breakfast, which is not smart when you're going on a hike, but it worked out fine. So those are things that worked. My hips are hurting bad, as I mentioned before. 50 years old. Yeah, it's there was mild elevation, certainly not mountainous. I mean, with hills and dales and little valleys. Again, the hiking on the trail was difficult because of the slipperiness. The last 3/4 of a mile was on the road, which I was thankful for because my hips are hurting. So that worked out good. Esbit stove worked out okay. They're pretty unstable. I love my Trangia. I just took the Esbit because they're compact, and I've been playing around with it. And you can easily do twigs to extend the life of the Esbits, tabs. So I mean that's kind of cool. I got my wood gasification, the Trangia, the MSR Whisper Light, the Esbit, the pocket cooker, which is just a twig stove. They all have their place, but the Esbit is pretty good if you just need to heat up a couple cups of water. Esbit tabs are a little expensive, but again, a revelation that it took that long to get the water hot when it's this cold out. Temperatures ranged anywhere from a low of 30, it's below 32 right now with the sun setting, up to, when it was in the sun, 40. And of course there's a wind chill factor, so it might probably even got a little lower than 30. Sweated profusely, or, pretty well, and, that's okay. It's just when you stop, it'd be an issue. And of course, an overnight, you don't want to change into something dry. So that's my wrap up.